Crimean Gothic was a Gothic dialect spoken by the Crimean Goths in some isolated locations in Crimea until the late 18th century. Attestation. The existence of a Germanic dialect in the Crimea is attested in a number of sources from the 9th century to the 18th century. However, only a single source provides any details of the language itself. A letter by the Flemish ambassador Giselander Busbeck, dated 1562 and first published in 1589, gives a list of some 80 words and a song supposedly in the language. Busbeck's information is problematic in a number of ways. His informants were not unimpeachable. There is the possibility that Busbeck's transcription was influenced by his own language. There are undoubted misprints in the printed text, which is the only source. Nonetheless, much of the vocabulary cited by Busbeck is unmistakably Germanic and was recognized by him as such. Gothic examples. Medial GG represents the sound pananogram, a feature of classical Greek orthography adopted by Ulfilas. Busbeck also cites a number of words which he did not recognize but which are now known to have Germanic cognates. Busbeck mentions a definite article, which he records as either the, and possibly attesting to Crimean Gothics having retained theta or th like English, at least in some positions. Identification and classification. While the initial identification of this language as Gothic probably rests on ethnological rather than linguistic grounds, that is, the speakers were identified as Goths, therefore the language must be Gothic, it shares a number of distinctive phonological developments with the Gothic of Ulfilas's Bible. For example, the word Ada, egg, shows the typical Gothic sharpening of Proto-Germanic *jj into ddj, being from Proto-Germanic *ajja. There are also examples of features preserved in Crimean Gothic and Biblical Gothic but which have undergone changes in West and North Germanic. For example, both Crimean Gothic and Biblical Gothic preserved Germanic z as a sibilant, while it became a in all other Germanic dialects. Crimean Gothic and Biblical Gothic both preserve the medial d in Proto-Germanic *fedwa, 4, attested as fida in the former and fidwar in the latter. This d is lost in all North and West Germanic languages, which have forms descending from *for or *fjör, Old English fjör, Old Saxon fjör, Old High German fjör, Old Norse fjör. However, there are problems in assuming that Crimean Gothic represents simply a later stage in the development of the Gothic attested in Ulfilas's Bible. Some innovations in Biblical Gothic are not found in Crimean Gothic. For example, Crimean Gothic preserves Germanic e, whereas in Biblical Gothic it has become I, E, G. Crimean Gothic Regen, Suwester, Biblical Gothic Rign, Swistar. Crimean Gothic preserves Germanic U before A, whereas Biblical Gothic has O, E, G. Crimean Gothic VVURT, Biblical Gothic Warthi. However, there are also similarities with developments in West Germanic, such as the change of th to a stop seen in Crimean Gothic Trier. Several historical accounts mention the similarity to Low German and the intelligibility of Crimean Gothic to German speakers, with the Dutch-speaking Busbeck's account being by far the most important. There are two alternative solutions: that Crimean Gothic presents a separate branch of East Germanic, distinct from Ulfilas's Gothic, or that Crimean Gothic is descended from the dialect of West Germanic settlers who migrated to the Crimea in the early Middle Ages and whose language was subsequently influenced by Gothic. Both of these were first suggested in the 19th century and are most recently argued by Stearns and Gronvik, respectively. While there is no consensus on a definitive solution to this problem, it is accepted that Crimean Gothic is not a descendant of Biblical Gothic. The song quoted by Busbeck is less obviously Germanic and has proved impossible to interpret definitively. There is no consensus as to whether it is in fact Crimean Gothic.